What do you think that little geek-aw is, boss? Are you sure you never saw it before?
Truth is, I can't tell you if I ever saw it before. But I'm confident that I never had it in the office. Are you sure you locked the door when you left for lunch?
Of course I locked it up. You know I always do. Or I know if I don't.
It's troubling. There's a thread in this. Ted's house, Martini Man, Bobby the brass expert, and this thing.
I see what you mean.
Harry took me to Ted's house right after the funeral. There were notes around the house on boxes. Harry wanted to make copies of them all, and he wanted me there to see it all. Took pictures of everything, so there was no question about anything.
Was he especially worried about anything?
Oh, you know Harry. He worries. That's who he is.
Boss, you know that's not what I mean. You're right. This feels different. I'm sure it's something about Ted or his estate.
But it was more. Ted had no heirs. He never married. His only brother, Buster, was what they used to call simple. Did you know Ted was adopted? And Ted took care of him till he died about 15 years ago. You remember him, right?
He used to walk to the post office every afternoon and check his P.O. box.
Ted made sure he got at least 2 cards a week, and he put Buster on a lot of mailing lists so that he always had something to pick up.
Sure, no doubt Ted was a good guy. He really did take good care of Buster. But I think the key is Martini Man.
How so?
First, he's just weird.
I'll give you that.
And second, what's with his interest in the big old houses?
He doesn't seem to be part of the move to turn the Mohawk Valley into the Hudson Valley.
It's probably good for Harry. More property is moving, and places are bringing in more money.
But I just don't get it. And what's with the communists at the bicycle factory? Sounds like a leftover from the socialists at the beginning of the 20th century.
Where did that come from?
Well, Little Falls has an interesting past. But communists?
Every time you say that, it pulls us something I don't quite remember.
You remember communists in Little Falls?
Of course not, boss. But my granddaddy sometimes told a story about a car fire near the bicycle factory. He worked there at the time. You remember him?
Sure. He was a regular at Ed and Bud's when I first opened this office, right?
Well, he'd have an extra beer sometimes, and then he'd tell the story. Granddaddy said it was some little explosion, and the FBI came to town for a few days and interviewed some of the Southsiders.
The FBI in Little Falls. I certainly never heard of that before.
That's where I'm fuzzy. I'm sure there was something about brass in the story, too.
Brass at the bicycle factory?
Granddaddy could tell a story, but even when I was really little, I knew that some of his stories were, I don't know, stories.
Just don't tell me your granddaddy drank martinis.
Mac! Mac Blac's office. Sure, Harry, I'll put you on speaker.
We're at Ted's. The box is gone. The brass box is gone.
It was there earlier today, with the contents list taped on top. I never saw so much tape on one box.
And it's gone. And nothing else is touched.
The city just put parking restrictions in effect immediately. Nobody saw the storm coming. I better go move my car.
You drove to work?
Well, I drove today because I was planning on going shopping between working here and at the Happen Inn.
Why don't you just go home? There's nothing here that won't wait, and nobody's going out for a beer tonight.
I'll be back. The Happen Inn is like the post office. Neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow.
Well, let me know when you open up. I'll come downstairs and keep you company. I need to think, and maybe a change of scenery will help.
Sure, boss. And be sure you lock the door.
Sure.
The snow is falling so heavy the streetlights went on at 3:30 in the afternoon. The plows are out, but they can't do much except try to stay even on the busier streets. Mac is gazing out at Main Street, but visibility is so poor he can barely see the occasional car trying to head up Ann Street. The school buses took kids home right after lunch, and the banks have closed early.
There's something going on that I just don't see, and somehow I think it's right in front of me. Harry's worried about selling Ted's collections in his house, but that's just Harry. Bobby has become an expert on brass. But Bobby has always been smarter than he let on. Cressida is Cressida, and that's always a good thing. But it's the Martini Man I can't figure out.
You're at the Happen Inn already? Something's wrong? Sure, I'll lock up and see you in about 5 minutes.
Cressida doesn't lose her head. I better get down to the bar. The sidewalks are shoveled and the only footsteps are, I guess, Cressida's on the way into the bar.
Here I am. Looks like we have the place to ourselves. I'm not surprised.
Actually, you're the second customer, boss.
Oh, I didn't see you there. We were wondering how we missed you after the house tour. You know, I didn't get your name before. What are you drinking?
It's as regular.
Your regular?
Unchilled glass, room temperature, Plymouth gin, no vermouth, no olives, no lemon peels, no pickled onions and no dirty, and no fingerprints on the glass.
Impressive.
Mac, could you help me tap this keg?
Sure. You think we'll need it tonight?
He was here when I got inside, and I had to unlock the door to get in. And boss, there were no footprints in the snow when I came in.
I see why you were upset when he called.
It just feels better with another person around.
I'll see if I can find anything out. So, my friend, what did you think of Ted's house? I hear you've looked at some of the fine houses in the area.
Do you want an Irish coffee, boss? Good blizzard weather drink.
I think I'll try what our friend here drinks.
Sure, boss.
So, my friend, you're from out of town. Maybe you missed the parking ban. Clear the streets for this level of snow. If you have a car, best get it before it gets towed. Cressida and I have off-street parking. We both live close. She's walking distance east, and I'm up the hill. And we have boots. You have some fine-looking shoes. The snow will ruin them.
Here's your special martini, boss. I mean, I guess it's still a martini. Oh, that's my phone. It's Harry. He and Bobby didn't find that thing he was looking for.
Tell him we'll deal with it after we're shoveled out. You're leaving?
I found what I was looking for.
Oh, that's good. Careful in the snow. And just one more thing. What do you call this drink?
A brass lantern.
Mac Blac is standing by his window, looking down on snowdrifts. The snowplows and police are the only life on the street.
24 hours of snow. We're waiting for the first hint of sunshine since yesterday morning. Funny though, I think the snow cleared up that flashing light thing I was seeing. Probably air pressure before a storm. Everything's closed by a state of emergency. Martini Man is gone. And so is the box of brass items from Ted's house. Harry and Bobby spent the night in Ted's house. Better than driving. They had heat and lights and worked their way through many boxes. They found newspaper clippings about a mysterious fire. But it all comes down to Martini Man. He didn't say much, but his last words were clear. Brass lantern. And there was this other thing. When he left the bar, there was a $50 bill by his glass, and another one of those little brass gewgaws. I finally recognized what it looked like. A lantern.
We here at Lift Theater's Mystery Theater of the Year would like to thank you for your interest in the strange episode of the Martini Man and the Brass Gewgaws. Mac Blac and his friends refer to it as the Brass Lantern Puzzle. And sometimes Mr. Blac orders a martini. Unshielded glass, room temperature Plymouth gin. No vermouth, no olives, no lemon peels, no pickled onions, no dirty, and of course, no fingerprints on the glass. Take a bow, folks.
Thank you all for coming out. Enjoy the evening.
I'm glad I listened to it a couple times because I was laughing.
Get 'em.